Tonight, we put Britain's biggest sports retailer under the spotlight. I'm going in undercover. It's a group of companies that's bucked the trend on the high street, giving us discount clothes and trainers by the lorry load.
It is really cheap, so you can get a great deal.
While making billions for its elusive owner, Mike Ashley. One of Britain's richest men. So just how have they done it? We go undercover to show you the way they operate.
I think it's just their way of trying to get more people into the shop. It is a bit misleading, I think.
In my view, if consumers are being misled, then there is a potential breach of the law.
And we reveal the warehouse conditions behind the high street bargains.
Please finish your order as soon as possible.
Sacking people. For what? What did they say to them? Get out.
Sports Direct. The UK's biggest sports retailer. With more than 400 stores across the UK and an HQ the size of 14 football pitches. It sells everything from football shirts to golf balls. So what is it about Sports Direct that attracts millions of customers through its doors every week? I'm going in undercover to find out. The moment you walk in the door, there are bargains. 2 for £6 footballs. Hello Kitty, £14.99, 50% off. These are all Lonsdale. There's not a single one I can find at full price. This was £29.99, only £4.99. It's gone from £22 to £5. 10 pairs of socks. Mega value £4, and you got 2 for £6. So it's gone from 12 to 4 to 2 for 6, so essentially to £3. So that's £60, £59.99, sale £30. Confusing, but it's cheap. £5.99, 2 for offers. Everything is on discount. I cannot. In fact, I think I'd struggle to find something that wasn't on discount. And the public agree.
It is really cheap, so you can get a great deal.
It's reasonable prices, reasonable stuff for every man, really.
Was it good value?
Yeah, I think so.
They've got good brands in there, so I'm very happy.
And this low price philosophy has been one of the reasons why Sports Direct has been so successful, even in a recession.
Sports Direct really grew up in a period when value retailing in Britain really took off. Value retailing used to be tiny, and over the last 20 years or so, it's gone from being tiny to being enormous. And in that kind of fantastic growth, we've seen the emergence of people like Aldi, Lidl, Primark, and these guys are a good example of that.
You'd be surprised how much you'd miss Dunlop. Dunlop tennis balls, Dunlop inflatable boats.
An advert for Dunlop in the 1970s. They don't make them like that anymore.
Dunlop tennis equipment. How much you'd miss Dunlop...
Sports Direct are not just selling other people's merchandise.
Dunlop moving pavements.
Over the years, they've bought up a whole load of famous brands that are now an important part of the business.
You'd miss Dunlop wheels and tyres. And Dunlop golf equipment.
Now, if you're of a certain age, you might have one of these hanging around the house. It's a Donné tennis racket, Beyond Borg brand no less, or perhaps a pair of Dunlop Green Flash or Slazenger V-neck jumper. In more recent years, you might have owned Sondico, No Fear, Everlast, Lonsdale, and Slazenger. Well, Sports Direct bought these brands up when arguably they were past their heyday. And mass producing them in the Far East, then piling them high and selling them cheap, all still with their original brand names, has meant bumper profits. What's the thinking behind buying up all of these old sports brands?
I think the thinking is that there's some heritage there. There's some heritage that can be revived with a bit of care and attention that perhaps those brands haven't had before Sports Direct.
And that grand plan of aggressively marketing its own brands and heavily discounting has made this man very rich. Mike Ashley, the 22nd wealthiest person in the country, worth an estimated £3.5 billion. That's 10 times what the Queen is valued at.
In the last decade, he's not been out of the top 100 richest people in Britain. He first came to our attention in 2002 when his company was called Sports Soccer, and it was worth £350 million, and that put him as the 85th richest person in Britain. Ashley's revolutionised the sports retail industry, and there's now, in that area, nobody to match him. He's largely taken over ailing brands. He's buying as cheap as possible. He's selling cheaply, but he's attracting an enormous number of customers.
One thing Sports Direct has been very good at is understanding how us British shoppers love a bargain, especially the sort you find in a closing down sale, like the one behind me here in Glasgow. In the past, SportsDirect.com retail has got itself into a spot of bother over closing down sales. In 2008, they were pulled up for misleading customers in a number of stores. They'd been displaying closing down signs in shop windows for several months, but either the store then didn't close or was just shut temporarily for refurbishment. At the time, the Office of Fair Trading said, consumers searching for bargains should not be misled by claims about closing down promotions. They also said that Sports Direct undertook not to mislead consumers over any future closing down promotions. Last July, Sports Direct advertised a closing down sale in Lincoln. When we secretly filmed in September, we saw signs saying, closing down, all stock reduced, and all stock must go, both outside and inside the store.
Hiya, when is the store closing?
It'll be sometime towards the end of the month, and we're moving to the JJB unit just around the corner.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So we're not like shutting down or disappearing, we are just going to be around the corner.
According to consumer law experts, it's best practice, more fair to customers, if signs make it clear a store is relocating, not closing down. We returned at the start of October. The sale was still on, but there was no mention of relocation on the signs.
So we have now got a date of the 4th of November, and hopefully that should be it now.
Okay.
We're all getting pretty frustrated as well. Yeah.
So what about those closing down prices? There did seem to be bargains. Nike Lycra Lady shorts down from £27.99 to £22.99. Slazenger canvas shoes down from £5 to £3.50. And an Adidas sports bra down from £21.99 to £17.99.
£17.99, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We quizzed staff about some of the bigger reductions.
Stuff like the 70% off and 50% off. That's like, is that just for now?
No, that's pretty much a discount shop, so there's always, pretty much everything's always discounted anyway, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
We were told that we were not the only people to spot this. Customers had complained.
There's all stock reduced, that's the same price it was before you started closing down, so sale.
Okay.
So, because that's how I can see how people read it as there should be further reductions on top.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think they get around it with the way it's worded.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just their way of trying to get more people into the shop.
It's kind of clever, really.
Yeah, but it is a bit misleading, I think. But,
And even the till staff were dismissive of their own closing down sale.
I expected cheap when it was closing down, sir.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, but it's just not early. It's high small people coming up early.
Okay.
When we returned in December, the store had indeed moved. There it is. The question is, in our sample, would the prices be any different? The short answer was no. All the goods, the lycra shorts, canvas shoes, and the sports bra were the same price as during the closing down sale. We asked an expert in consumer law to look at our footage.
If consumers were not aware that the prices are going to be maintained at the new store, then they may be making purchasing decisions that they regret afterwards. In my view, if consumers are being misled by not being given the full picture, then there is a potential breach of the law.
Back in Glasgow, we wanted to know what members of the public thought about a Sports Direct closing down sale. Would you expect there to be bargains in a closing down sale?
Yeah, definitely.
Why?
Because it's closing down, so it should be bargains. There should be, discounted stock.
Were you expecting prices to be cheaper?
I was expecting that's what drew me in, closing down stock, but didn't find it any cheaper, no.
Rubbish.
You thought it was rubbish?
It's rubbish.
Why was it rubbish?
Because the prices are no different from what they were before Christmas.
They're promising something and not delivering it. They're leading you on. They're telling you that there's a closing down sale, everything's reduced to unbelievable value, and you find it's the same price. It's a marketing trick. I don't like that. I don't like being conned.
In relation to the Lincoln store closing, Sports Direct told us
there was what we would refer to as a closing down promotion advertised at this store. It is correct that a different store then opened. Consumers did obtain additional benefits during the promotion. Individual comments made off the record by staff are not a proper basis for your allegations.
After the break, Sports Direct's discounts. Do the public understand them?
How come it's on sale?
Oh, because we always reduce most of our shoes when we get them in.
And we go undercover to find out some of the secrets of Sports Direct's Shirebrook HQ.
All along here, it says block out.
Sports Direct is famous for its dramatic discounts and extraordinary deals. Pretty much everything in their stores seems to be on offer. There are guidelines about how retailers can advertise discounts. Take, for example, these walking boots I've just bought in Sports Direct. There are tons of different prices on the box, but at no point is it made clear what these higher and lower prices represent. But the impression that could be given to consumers is that these boots were available in this store at this higher price at some point in the past. But is that what we found? We went to their Lillywhite store in the heart of London's Piccadilly Circus on launch day for a brand spanking new line of Nike trainers to find out. Just like in all their other shops, there were sale and discount signs everywhere. But what kind of deal would we get with the new Nike trainers?
Hi, sorry. I was just trying to find the Nike Flash Flex 2014.
If I've got it, it's going to be that one there.
Oh, I saw that one, but it wasn't the same thing. Okay. When did this come in?
Today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What,
this
like
morning.
literally today?
Yeah, this morning. It came in last night in the night shift and brought it out today in the morning. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I try it in size 5?
Sure, not a problem. You think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do want these. I just wanted to ask though, I mean, if this is like the first day these are out and everything, like how come it's on sale?
Oh, because we always reduce most of our shoes when we get them in, so it's pretty normal for us to reduce them straight away.
On display, even on the day they were released, the trainers appeared to be on sale. The label had a higher, what looked to be an original price of £74.99, struck through, and a new price of £59.99, making it seem like a bargain. But what is this higher price? Well, it was the price the trainers had been available at as a pre-order on their website until a day earlier. But government guidelines say they have to have been on sale at that price in that store for the previous 28 days. If this wasn't the case, the retailer needs to explain exactly what that price refers to. In Glasgow, we asked shoppers what they thought the higher price was on Sports Direct stickers. What do you think the higher price, the £49.99, means?
It used to be that price. I think that was the original price. And yeah, I think that it's been sold at $49.99 before.
Okay. I think what they're saying is that that was $49 originally, but they're giving you 50% off.
Do you think that these shoes were available at $49.99 at some point?
If that's what it says on the box, then yes.
It makes it look as if it's a sale. Probably that was the original price, $24.99, and it just says 50% off, and that's to make you buy it. Do you think you're getting a bargain?
But you're not fooled by it?
No.
It's quite clear that their labelling is not following the terms of the guidance. They are not providing sufficient information, and this could be used in order to establish a breach of the law against them if it could be shown that average consumers are being misled by what is going on and making different decisions about purchasing, visiting the store, dealing with the company, compared to what they would make if they had known the true position.
So, if you have a higher struck-through price on a label, an ordinary consumer could think you have been selling that product at the higher price in that store, and they're therefore getting a bargain. If you have not sold that product at the higher price, then it is possible to put it on the label, but you have to be crystal clear what the higher price refers to, whether it's a manufacturer's price or whether it's another retailer's price. If you don't explicitly state it on the label, you are breaking government guidelines. We wanted to find out more about the discounts. This is the heart of Sports Direct's operations. Based in Shirebrook, in the East Midlands. There's 1 million square feet of it. Our undercover reporter got himself a job in the warehouse. He was put in the web processing department, assembling orders for customers at home. On this pair of Hello Kitty children's boots, there were 2 sets of labels.
Hello Kitty, ankle high, grey. It's $29.99. That label. $19.99 label underneath.
What used to be £19.99 down to £14.99 is now £29.99 down to £14.99. We spoke to former warehouse worker Krzysztof, one of many Polish people at Shirebrook. Like other current and former workers, he didn't want to be identified. Krzysztof used to work in the pricing department. He says stock arrived from Asia with discount labels already attached.
According to my experience, we were unloading containers which looked like they were loaded in Asia. Every delivery we were unloading already had the prices. Sometimes we need to take off the labels. If we weren't able to take off the original price, we had to stick the new label,
making the apparent discount even higher.
All along here it says block-out stickers.
On pallets were piles of boxes that appeared to be waiting to be priced. Among them, a consignment of Carrymore Sierra jackets, a Sports Direct own brand, with a label on the box that simply said,
"Please take off old price."
There were sheets of labels with a new price.
That's the new labels to put on.
£64.99. That's higher than the price currently on the jackets.
The old label reads £59.99.
Now, I bought a Carrymore Sierra jacket to see what the customer's getting. First off, a big mug, lovely. A sports magazine, very nice. And the jacket. On the bag of the packaging, we have the first price, and it says $64.99. And then on the jacket itself, here we have the Carrymore label. It says $59.99. And then next to it, we've got a big pink discount ticket. And this also has $59.99 with ref next to it. And this higher price is struck through. And underneath, we have only $29.99. Now, this term ref is crucial. Consumer experts say that it's meaningless. It's neither the recommended retail price, nor is it the manufacturer's recommended price. And government guidelines say it is very important that the shop makes clear what this higher price refers to.
Retailers are expected to declare to consumers if they are not following the guidelines issued by the government. They're supposed to spell out exactly what their offer means, how long it has been on display, whose previous price it is. If it hasn't been sold for very long, they should be saying how long it has been sold at that higher price, etc. So consumers can look at the label, read them, make a proper decision, and then act on it.
Over the course of our investigation, we've monitored a number of Sports Direct stores. The vast majority of stock we saw had a struck-through label implying a discount. But maybe they're not discounted at all. Let's face it, they're just cheap. So why not just say that? In relation to pricing, Sports Direct told us,
"Our intention is to provide customers with unbeatable value, not to mislead them. There are many factors which enable us to deliver great prices, including, amongst other things, effective sourcing, economies of scale achieved by buying in high volumes, sophisticated and highly efficient logistics, and investment in all the brands we sell."
After the break, the billionaire behind Sports Direct and what it's like to work in his Shirebrook HQ.
Please remember that your target is 15 orders per hour, so please come faster.
Sports Direct is the brainchild of the elusive Mike Ashley, a former county squash coach who set up the business from humble beginnings back in 1982. Fast forward a little bit more than 30 years and he's now worth billions. So what do we know about one of Britain's most colourful billionaires? Well, not a lot. He was practically unknown until he floated Sports Direct on the stock exchange in 2007, netting himself £930 million in cash. And then he bought himself a football club.
Mike Ashley! Ernie stopped interviewing Mike Ashley!
Mike Ashley seemed to be in his element, enjoying himself on the terraces and having fun with fans. But then it turned sour.
A crowd of angry supporters converged on St James's Park. Their anger aimed at billionaire owner Mike Ashley.
He sacked their local hero, Kevin Keegan. And the controversy didn't end there. He signed a deal with payday lender Wonga to sponsor the team, and he tried to rename St James's Park the Sports Direct Arena. And although he failed, his critics still point to how Ashley is using the club to promote his business interests.
Suspicion is from fans and the media that Mike Ashley is using Newcastle United as a billboard for Sports Direct. If you go to St James's Park, you'll see around about 140 Sports Direct images, adverts for Sports Direct in the stadium. They get beamed all around Europe, all around the world, every time Newcastle United are live on television.
How much money does Newcastle United get from the fact that it's got plastered all over the stadium Sports Direct advertising?
They don't get a penny. Sports Direct gets free exposure in St James's Park. They don't pay a penny to Newcastle United for that advertising.
The relationship to Newcastle United's merchandising operation is another bone of contention. I'm at St James's Park, home of Newcastle United Football Club, and I've just gone and bought some merchandise. It's a jumbo mug. Look, 50% off. What a bargain. And you might spot that this is the same typeface used by Sports Direct. And indeed, on the till receipt, it says Newcastle United Football Club, but the address is Shirebrook. This shop and Newcastle United retail arm makes £3.4 million for Sports Direct. And when, last October, Ashley increased his stake in Rangers Football Club, then lent them millions, the speculation was it could serve the same purpose.
I think it sits very well along with the theory that he sees Rangers now as another billboard for Sports Direct. He's bought into Rangers very cheaply, he's loaned them money, he has a 9.6% stake, around about that level.
Is he also taking over the Rangers shop as well? Is that a Sports Direct?
It seems that a very similar thing has happened to the Rangers retail arm, in that the employees who used to work for Rangers and sell merchandise are now employed by Sports Direct, and a similar sum is going into the coffers of Sports Direct for the money that they earn.
Mike Ashley is thought of as a maverick in the city. He's been accused of corporate bullying, yet has a reputation as a sharp negotiator. He's unpredictable, yet fiercely loyal to the long-serving team around him. But despite his high-profile involvement with 2 football clubs and taking stakes in household retailers like Tesco and Debenhams, he's a very private man.
The company obviously follows the normal rules of corporate governance, but Mike Ashley doesn't go out of his way to be interviewed at all, even in the city press. He's been profiled a number of times, but I don't think he's ever spoken to a journalist directly in an interview.
And sports journalist Simon Bird should know. From the moment Ashley bought Newcastle, he's been trying to speak to him, even buying shares in Sports Direct, so that he has the right to ask questions at the annual general meeting.
We wanted to ask, why are Sports Direct not paying any money to Newcastle United for the many dozens of adverts for Sports Direct in St James's Park?
And what did he say?
They confirmed that there was no payment made between Sports Direct and Newcastle United for those adverts.
Given that Mike Ashley controls both, it's perhaps not surprising he wants to use one to promote the other. But what about at the company's HQ in Shirebrook? How do things work there? Walking in at the start of a shift, it feels like an exciting place to be. Lining the walls as you make your way up the staircase is a ladder of aspiration. Starting at the bottom is the promise of cash. Work your way up, and you read that you are rewarded in this company. A few steps more, and you're told how people are honored to be there. Right at the top is a simple question. How will you spend your bonus? Then there is a promise of a party. A glossy recruitment video suggested this would be a great place to work.
I absolutely love my job. I don't ever have a day that I go into my work and I don't enjoy it, and I think that makes all the difference.
But the reality for the majority of Shirebrook's 5,000+ workforce is far from this sugar-coated way of life.
Bonus structure is fantastic. The actual financial gain is like something nobody would believe.
It's estimated that only 300 workers actually have contracts with Sports Direct. The rest are on 0 hours contracts with one of 2 employment agencies, Best Connection and Transline. For them, there isn't even a guarantee of regular hours, let alone a bonus scheme, a party, or even time to talk to each other.
Please remember that your target is 15 orders per hour, so please stand faster.
Shirebrook is a place where tannoy announcements in Polish and English name people for not working fast enough. Where chatting is banned
Don't stand and chat for 10 minutes in one place.
and where intrusive security check your waistband, socks and shoes at the end of every shift.
Thank you.
After the break, we'll investigate what it's really like to work at Shirebrook.
If you get caught about it, just strike. 6 strikes, lose job.
On many mornings when our undercover reporter started his shift, groups of new recruits were waiting to be tried out on the shop floor. Job agencies Best Connection and Transline handle all the day-to-day management of workers, including hiring and firing. They even have their own offices in the Shirebrook complex.
Best Connection.
Within days of our reporter starting work, his trainer warned him that he's on a 0 hours contract, meaning jobs are far from secure.
You do have a rota and you do have hours, but tomorrow, all of us pickers could get told
There's no work.
there's no work. And then, yeah, of course, we're on 0 hours. You haven't got a job. You're an agency. You're only as good as the work. You know what I mean?
It's an issue that has attracted the attention of political big guns.
0 hours contract is the way Sports Direct employs the vast majority of its workforce. Now, these Victorian practices, the epidemic of 0 hours contracts that we see at Sports Direct, have no place in the 21st century.
Some people choose a 0 hours contract. If you're a student, for instance, and you want to do some part-time work, a 0 hours contract can work for you. That's why we haven't outlawed them altogether. What we've outlawed is exclusive 0 hours contracts. And no, I couldn't live on one of those.
We're going to issue much clearer guidance to employers about how they should use the flexibility in zero contract hours in a responsible way. We're trying to retain the flexibility which some people do appreciate, but seek to stamp out altogether the worst abuses, the exclusivity of contracts, and work with trade unions and employers to instil greater responsibility in how zero contract hours work.
And the smaller parties all have views on 0 hour contracts as well. UKIP say someone who's spent a year on a 0 hours contract should be entitled to either a fixed hours contract or a permanent job, unless it's a small business. while the SNP, Plaid Cymru and the Green Party want to ban them outright. But for now, for more than 14,500 Sports Direct workers in the UK, that's 3/4 of the current workforce, there's no option other than to live on 0 hours contracts. Government websites say that if you have a contract with an agency, you are a worker, not an employee. So as well as not having regular hours of work or indeed a guaranteed income, you don't have the same employment rights. That means that usually you have no protection against unfair dismissal. You don't have to be given any notice period if you're being dismissed, and you don't have the right to request flexible working. Employment lawyer Michael Reed says that while 0 hours might make economic sense, they also make for a harsh life.
An awful lot of people who talk about how important it is to have a flexible workplace, who talk about how important it is for employers to be able to grow the economy and things like that, would be horrified if they had to work in those conditions. And I think those conditions are miserable. Working under that sort of continuous driving pressure is not good for anybody. But unfortunately, you can treat people very badly without treating them unlawfully.
At Shirebrook, agency workers are closely monitored by supervisors who collect data on how they are performing on a monthly, weekly, and even daily basis. People are set performance targets. For our undercover reporter, it was the number of web orders he picked every hour. These were known as his pick rates. Then, league tables are posted on notice boards, identifying the best and worst. Our reporter worked hard for his new employer, but after a couple of weeks, he got a tap on the shoulder.
Today we got the list of bottom 10. We are on the bottom 10, but it was just 1 day. Okay. If it happens 2 times in 1 week, you just need to improve, okay?
So these are the new rules of work, where there's constant scrutiny, massive insecurity, and no guarantee of regular work. Sheila, who also wants to remain anonymous, has been working at Sports Direct for a number of years. Her words are spoken by an actor.
There's no happy environment. It's all miserable. Just want you to work faster and faster, do this and do that. You've just got to work, you know, every minute of the day without stopping. You can't stop, talk. You can't stop.
You work under the pressure that you can lose your job from day to day.
Warnings about how fragile employment is at Sports Direct are drip-fed. During one shift, our undercover reporter's trainer gave him the heads up about recent firings. He said people were being sacked because they weren't meeting their targets.
My pick rate?
Yeah.
No idea. Why?
Just try and keep a good one with sacking people.
Try and keep a good one, why?
Sacking people.
For what?
Having to pick.
Just on the spot?
Yeah. 4.
4? What did they say to them?
Pick rate. Get out.
Our reporter caught up with his colleague later in the day.
Say again, mate. In fact, another 4 people today.
Today? Since you told to me?
Yeah, no, this morning. I didn't know about it. It's like 4 yesterday, 5 yesterday, sorry. It's like 4 this morning.
English and Polish?
Yeah.
Who's making the decisions? The agency or the... Yeah.
There's one aspect of working at Sports Direct that many whistleblowers have wanted to tell us about. It's the 6 strikes and you're out disciplinary procedure that both agencies Best Connection and Transline get people to sign up to.
Right. very important here, okay? You have to have a clipboard and pen all the time. Okay. If you get caught without it, it's a strike. 6 strikes, you lose your job.
The list of what you can get a strike for is long. Some of it could get you into trouble at other factories or large warehouses, but it wouldn't necessarily lead you to being fired. At Sports Direct, you risk your job for errors, excessive long toilet breaks, excessive chatting, poor housekeeping, and unexplained dead time. And at Sports Direct, you can even get a strike for having time off for sickness. And our reporter was told if you get just half a dozen of the offences on the 36-strong list in 6 months, you're out. Over his meal break, he was told that even a sick note wouldn't prevent you from getting a strike.
No at your throat to this place.
What have they taxed people for then?
Too many strikes. It's that one. Suppose sick note in.
Yeah.
Sacked. Too many strikes. But she brought 2 sick notes in.
Say again.
She brought 2 sick notes in and sacked them because she had too many strikes. They gave her 2 strikes for a sick note.
Now, this may have been canteen gossip, no more than that, but a newsletter given to staff that we obtained in December makes it clear that being ill at Sports Direct is a disciplinary offence. It states, do not forget, if you take a sick day, you will lose your money. Your holiday pay will go down, and also you'll receive a strike for absence from work.
After your 6 strikes, you're out the door. Even when people go into work thinking they've still got a job, they turn them away and saying, you know, you've lost your job.
Trade union officials have told us what happens when Sports Direct are taken to an employment tribunal.
Sports Direct are very astute at keeping their name out of the press, so very often you find yourself settling on the way into the court. And then it becomes very difficult then. It's inevitably enshrined in a confidentiality clause with an amount of money that the employee themselves, the worker themselves, sees as being beneficial, enough at least to settle the case. And on that basis, we can't then pursue it through the tribunal. We don't get a precedent. We don't get to make a public story.
In relation to the strike system, Sports Direct told us,
the system, amongst other things, takes into consideration a worker's timekeeping, attendance, sickness, conduct, and performance target levels. When a worker falls below the required standards, the reasons for this will be discussed, including any mitigation, and support and training will be provided. Where any employee continues to fail to reach these targets, a strike may be issued as a quarter, half, or full strike. Any strike or partial strike issued expires after a 6-month period. The system used at Sports Direct is a points system, and a worker can have up to 24 strikes on their record within a 6-month period before they're released from their assignment. In respect of staff working in our warehouse, Sports Direct provides working conditions in compliance with applicable employment legislation.
In March, Sports Direct chairman Keith Hellawell went before a House of Commons Select Committee. They'd asked Mike Ashley to appear, but when he said he was busy, Mr. Hellawell went in his place. He explained, among other things, the company's use of 0-hours contracts.
It gives us the flexibility of the workforce, and we have available the staff that we need at the times we need them for the number of hours that we need them.
Cheap sportswear, incredible bargains. It's no wonder shoppers flock to Sports Direct and they make such huge profits. But some of the discounts are not what they seem. And those cheap clothes, shoes, and discount gear come at a hidden cost. A workforce that is forced to endure demanding and insecure conditions, a harsh disciplinary procedure, and low pay. That's the secret of Sports Direct.
Next Sunday, big questions that every prospective immigrant needs to know. It's an Immigrant's Guide to Britain at 10:05. And next Monday, it's Food Unwrapped. Why is so much bacon Danish in supermarkets? And the secrets of whiskey, all from 8. Back to tonight and what it takes to get by when you haven't got a place of your own. Skint is next.